Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the 7th movie in this Mission Impossible film franchise, and what is supposed to be the first half of what is supposed to be Tom Cruise's send-off to this franchise as Ethan Hunt. In this movie, the big threat that the IMF has to go up against is this artificial intelligence known as the Entity, which has been capable of hijacking systems and submarines and weaponry, and is truly capable of causing worldwide destruction. Ethan Hunt's mission, should he choose to accept it, is to find the key that controls this entity and ultimately figure out how to find a way to take the key and then stop the entity from causing worldwide destruction. All the while, people that want to control the entity and use its power for their own benefit are also going after this key and prepared to take down Ethan Hunt to get there. The Mission Impossible franchise is a franchise that I grew to become a fan of. Wasn't a big fan of 1, 2, and 3, but Ghost Protocol onward, they have made some of the best action movies in recent years, especially with Fallout. And I mean, Tom Cruise is just the greatest action movie star. Between movies like Mission Impossible Fallout and Top Gun Maverick, which was my favorite movie of last year, the guy just makes unreal action movies. So naturally, this movie I was really excited for, but I had been waiting for it for a long time. It's been delayed many times due to COVID and production schedules and, all the, delays that go into making movies nowadays. And now that I have seen Dead Reckoning Part 1, I'm gonna say this right now. If Dead Reckoning Part 2 is a hit, I think it's officially safe to say the Mission Impossible franchise goes down as the greatest action movie franchise that's been made, bar none, period. Despite the fact that I am as lukewarm toward the first three as I feel. That is how strong this franchise has been going, and that is how good Dead Reckoning Part 1 is. For starters, I absolutely love using the AI entity as the mission that must be accepted in this movie. The big force that needs to be stopped. Because for me personally, in the previous Mission Impossible movies, I know the missions that they are given are supposed to be impossible, but because of the track record behind Ethan Hunt and the rest of the IMF and what they're capable of doing, when you hear what they have to do in previous movies, I never really felt like what they had to do was completely impossible, at least not for them. Right out the gate, this movie shows you just how powerful this entity is, what it's capable of doing, why it's going to be so dangerous to the rest of the world. And in this case, I look at it and I'm just like, this does feel a little bit like a lost cause. Like, you kind of see what it does right out the gate, and it kind of leaves you with a little bit of that sense of hopelessness and that sense of uncertainty, and I'm just like, okay, I have no idea how or if they're going to bring this thing down. I also really like the idea of going with AI as the villain of this movie, if you want to call it that, because we've been seeing just how far technology has been going in real life. People are using AI for a lot of different things now. Many people are starting to think that, Terminator one day is going to happen. AI is going to come to life, create machines and robots that are going to wipe out the human race. People are starting to think it could be a real thing because of just how far we're really going with technology and what AI is capable of doing now. So the concept of making it the thing that must be stopped in this movie, I actually thought really, really worked as the mission. Getting into the cast in the movie itself, I mean, once again, Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt. He's fucking awesome. He is the best action movie star working today. I mean, the man is 61 years old. I believe he's 61 years old. And just what he does in these movies is insane for anyone, let alone the fact that he is as old as he is. I mean, he does all of his own stunts, and the stunts you see in this movie are just unbelievable. And that's really what I've grown to understand is what's going to really make a great action movie. If you have great stunt work in this movie, in any action movie, it's going to bring it up miles. And Tom Cruise, who's not just one of the best action movie stars of all time, but you would probably make a case he's one of the best stuntmen of all time. Having him in this movie, doing what he does, it's going to elevate the thrills and the action and the excitement. I mean, that clip in the trailer where he rides the motorcycle off the cliff and you're hearing behind the scenes, he did that take like 6 times. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you? It was badass enough you were piloting your own jets in Top Gun Maverick. You decided to just ride a motorcycle off a cliff fucking 6 times? Fucking animal. And I really love the character of Ethan Hunt. I mean, he's so good under pressure. He's so good with figuring out how to get out of the jams that he's in. And I love seeing the chemistry that he has with so many of the characters in this movie. One in particular that I'll touch on later on, but I really love seeing the genuine friendship he has with his team. I mean, he has shed blood, sweat, and tears with these people. He has saved the world with them more times than anyone can fucking count. And you really feel it here. You really feel like there is a friendship and a real team here, and I love that. I also want to get into Hayley Atwell in this movie. She is the newest addition here. She basically becomes the new member of the team. She does a lot of teaming up with Ethan Hunt, especially in this movie. I'm gonna tell you right now, Hayley Atwell and Tom Cruise had excellent chemistry. And what I really liked about Hayley Atwell's character is she was developed the right way. She doesn't just show up right away and is just amazing completely at what she does and like super confident in what she does. She's good at pickpocketing and little things like that here and there. But she's not like this master spy right out the gate. You know, when she's, avoiding bad guys and infiltrating certain things, and you really feel the nerves and the anxiety in this woman, and I'm just like, this is what it should be. Like, gradually she has to learn how to be a member of this team. And the chemistry she has with Tom Cruise is phenomenal. They have very playful, kind of flirtatious banter going with each other throughout the movie, but you also feel it's a little bit, teacher-student in this situation, him guiding her on what she needs to do, him reassuring her. It's like, hey, you're part of this team, I'm gonna have your back. I really wish Hollywood nowadays would take notes of movies like this, because it's like, if you want a strong female character in your movie, this is exactly how you make one. And of course, the action in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the car chase scenes, the scene on the train that we've seen bits and pieces of, the, flying off a cliff, the exploration of certain artifacts, the hunt for this key that's going on. It's all so intense and so exciting. It has you on the edge of your seat, and you're honestly just sitting there just appreciating it. Just seeing what the actors are capable of doing and seeing what probably went into filming scenes like this and all the takes and stunt work that went into it. When you take that step back and you just see it in its glory, it makes you love and appreciate and enjoy it even more than you already are. You can just see there is so much passion that went into this movie, and I love seeing that from filmmakers. I also really like the villain aspect of this movie. In a way, to a point, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the dynamic between Sauron with Saruman and the orcs in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's like the entity is the villain, but the entity kind of has its sort of foot soldiers. This movie kind of has the same thing. You have this AI, and it has the foot soldiers that are in ways working with it because they want to harness the power for itself, and you understand why the villain side is doing what they're doing. Not because you support it, but because yeah, of course they want to harness something like this AI because of what this thing is capable of doing, and because they believe if they get this key, they can control it. Also, this movie is part 1, but I will say this much. Unlike a lot of other part 1s where it ends on just a complete and total cliffhanger, this one left me with a little bit more closure. Now, there is absolutely going to be a part 2. I mean, it wouldn't call itself part 1 if it wasn't. But what I appreciate is, there's obviously this big mission going on, but you almost feel like a mission that's this big needs 2 movies, because where this movie ends, you feel like the first half of the mission is over. It's done, but you're like, there's still a whole other situation out there that needs to be taken care of. And that's where you begin to understand, it's like, okay, that's why this is a 2-part movie, because if you basically took everything about the mission and just crammed into one movie, it probably would feel rushed. It probably would feel like it was missing something. Oh yeah, the movie's already 2 hours and 43 minutes long, but was I affected by the runtime? Not really. As far as flaws in the movies go, one of my nitpicks I would say is, the movie does the cliche action, thing where it's like some stuff happens that's super convenient to the heroes and super convenient for the mission itself, where you're just like, how was that able to even happen given what just occurred? Namely with the opening scene itself, I won't get into that, but when you watch it and, it goes into the title sequence, you're just like, okay, I see what's gonna happen here, but how did this just conveniently happen? Also, other actors in this movie like Vin Rames and Simon Pegg, they don't get as much screen time in this movie as I was hoping they would. I absolutely love their characters, love their dynamic with Tom Cruise and how they all work together as a team. and I didn't see as much of them as I would have liked. I mean, namely, when it comes to the team itself, it's Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell. They're the main characters here. Now, granted, like I said, this is technically part one of a two-part movie, so my hope would be in part two, those two guys would get a lot more screen time and be much more of a presence in the movie than they were in this one. But all in all, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, I thought this movie was awesome. Tom Cruise is the best action movie star in the world right now. I don't think there's anyone out there that can tell me differently. What this guy does is just absurdity. I loved Ethan Hunt's chemistry with Grace, Haley Atwell's character. I loved seeing her develop into a member of this team and really develop as a character. The action is phenomenal. The stunt work is absolutely bonkers. The story is really smart. I loved the AI introduction as the thing that must be stopped. The villain aspect was interesting. You get a lot of new characters come back in, which I think will be a welcome return for the people who really love the original Impossible movies. The movie has its conveniences. I wish some characters got a little more fleshed out, but I will save that for part two. And in the end, I heard one person out there call this movie basically what Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny should have been. And that's absolutely accurate. I mean, the seasoned action star pairs up with this younger female sidekick. You know, they have to collect a certain artifact that has big world-ending potential consequences, and a bunch of action ensues. The difference, however, is this movie did it way, way, way better than the Dial of Destiny did it. So yeah, Disney, if you want to make an excellent action movie with a seasoned veteran actor based off a beloved franchise, this is how you do that. Take notes, motherfuckers. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.